Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to the elimination race of the first round of the playoffs here in the Career Mode at Bristol Motor Speedway. One of my best tracks in terms of performance at this racetrack, so very excited for this one. And coming into this race, you see the four drivers on the outside looking in. Daniel Suarez for Trackhouse, Eric Jones in the McLaren, William Byron in the Earnhardt Johnson Racing Chevrolet, and then Tyler Reddick there in that number 8 car for RCR. But before we get into the main stage event here in Bristol, of course we have a couple races to take care of in both the Trucks and Xfinity series. And in the Truck series we had a subscriber Riley Carlson in the truck for us here today, and what is also an elimination race here in the Truck series. I should also mention that for the Cup Series race, actually, I did not show the live points throughout the whole thing at the end of the stages, but I did show a key point moment that you will see on your screen as the gap was a little bit more spread out than I was expecting. Now, as we get underway, though, here in the Truck Series from P6, where Riley Carlson had qualified, and definitely this was one of the more aggressive races I've seen from a subscriber in our truck here in the career mode so far. And now, as you're going to see as he comes through out of turns 4, he was already 3 wide here in Bristol. Not wasting any time, being aggressive, some contact there with the 45 truck. Now as it comes through at a turn 2 side by side with Ross Chastain, the watermelon boy himself, as it go down into turn 3 right behind Grant Enfinger. But he had kind of struggled being up on the top here. Usually the top works really well, but it wasn't really working here in the Truck series. So come through a little bit later and he was battling it out with the 99 truck as well as the 98 of Grant Enfinger, and there was a lot of contact being made throughout this battle here as he came through turns 1 and 2. So it would continue on like this now as the 45 got sideways, Ben Rhodes got sideways as well. Then he actually drove into the back of Ben Rhodes, sent him sliding into turn 3. He would complete the pass on him, but that of course set him back quite a bit here for the finish of this race. We came through to the final lap and he was still battling it out with Ben Rhodes as he went down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in the UNOH 200. As they come through at a 4 though, Ben Rhodes was able to get Riley Carlson at the line there for the position. So it was still P5 here for Riley. So Riley Carlson with a great effort as the Canadian Stuart Friesen, by the way, would come through to pick up the victory in Bristol. In the elimination race, our truck team won the first playoff race, and that put us already into the next round. So we didn't have to worry the last 2, but now we go into the next round of the playoffs, and that will be the round to determine the final 4 here in the Truck series. But we come through to the Xfinity series for the first race of the playoffs. I just simmed this one again. Justin Haley actually went back to back after winning last episode. He wins again here in Bristol, really picking it up late in the season. So, of course, as you guys know, he's going to the Cup Series in the career mode next season here in that number 16 car. Can't wait to see how they are going to do. But you saw the rest of the finishing order there on your screen. Now as we get ready to go here for the Cup Series, where we actually got the Pepsi paint scheme back on the car for this episode here in Bristol. Now, it's been a little bit since we've run this. We've been running a lot of special paint schemes lately, which have been a lot of fun. Now, as I will be running another special paint scheme at Phoenix, as I will have all the members of the channel on the car and whatnot, just as a little thank you. Now, as we came through though into our qualifying effort, the goal was a 15.798, and we come through with 3 and out of turns 4, and it was a solid lap here. We come through the cross line with 15.755 and qualify P8 here for the Bristol elimination race. So a very solid qualifying effort up inside the top 10. Unfortunately, on the outside as well. Check out the rest of the grid. Our teammate of Chase Elliott down there, P23, but our other teammates like Kyle Larson as well as Alex Bowman both put up solid qualifying efforts now as we check out the top 10 here on the grid. Eric Almirola rounds out the top 10, and on the front row it's going to be Martin Truex Jr. as well as Denny Hamlin, with Bowman and Gregson and Keselowski rounding out the top 5 now as we get ready to go green here for the Bristol night race. Alright boys, it's been a good first round of the playoffs. I mean, we'll just cap it off here with a good effort tonight. I mean, we're already locked in, so we'll see what we can do. Hopefully get a win and set us up well maybe for the next round. There you heard myself on the radio now as we get ready to take the green flag here for the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. So Kyle Busch actually here, as you see in the stories of the race, crashed during qualifying. He'll be starting at the back of the field. He's in a comfortable position to make it into the next round, of course, so I mean, should be no problems for him. Truex on the pole, and Brad Keselowski, another playoff contender, sent to the back after having to change his engine after qualifying. So we move up to the inside line now in P7 as we get ready to take the green flag here in the first round elimination race at Bristol Motor Speedway. The green flag is out and we are underway. Alex Bowman on road row number 2 alongside Noah Gragson, 2 key drivers to keep an eye out for tonight now, as they're comfortably above the cut line, but if something goes wrong for them, they have a mechanical issue or something, or they blow a tire, then they could very well find themselves eliminated here tonight in the night race. But really, the main thing is for anyone to really get eliminated right now that's above the cut line, they're going to have to just have a really bad night, probably run in the mid-20s to 30s, and then, of course, someone below the cut line is going to have a stellar performance. And I look at a driver right now like Eric Jones up there in that 0-2 McLaren. He is below the cut line, but starts off very well here in Bristol. There's always up the inside of Noah Gragson. Trying to be careful around him. An affiliate teammate, as that team does use Hendrick Motorsports engines, so we consider them a teammate, quote-unquote, now here as we go down into turn 3. Trying my best to clear Noah. I don't feel very comfortable when I'm on the bottom, but we made it work anyways as we came through to turns 4. So we move up into P6 and immediately would jump up to the top and run down Kyle Larson, as well as Denny Hamlin and Eric Jones in the McLaren, who seem to have a little bit of a pace disadvantage compared to these other guys right now. He was definitely not as fast as anyone, but he was still holding on to P3, but I was just cruising around the outside. We passed Larson, we passed Hamlin, we get even with Jones into turns 3 and 4, and we are going to also be able to make the pass on that McLaren Chevrolet here to come through down the front straightaway. It's already up into P3 as we came through to lap 9 of this first stage. So, of course, then we try to run down our teammate of Alex Bowman, and with no problem at all, we would get there as we came through on lap 12. Now looking to the outside of him on the exit of turns 4, Martin Truex Jr. trying to run away with the lead early on here in stage 1 as he had a very comfortable gap, but myself and Bowman would have a nice little battle here. It continued on for a lap or so now as we came through to the exit of turns 2 on lap 14, down the back straightaway, a little bit sideways from myself there, but we hang on to it as we go down into turns 3, and now sure enough through the center of 3 and out of 4, we're going to have a good chunk of momentum, and that comes in to help us clear the 48 of Alex Bowman. So now we move up into the second runner-up position to Martin Truex Jr., and we just spend the rest of this first stage trying to run down that 19 car. But as you can see, lap traffic, of course, would become a bit of a factor for myself here now as we came through to 12 laps to go already in stage 1, but we were doing a solid job here navigating throughout these slower cars and whatnot, and we were closing in on the back of Truex a little bit, and then he would kind of open it up a little bit now as I would actually lap my rival of Joey Logano. And I was mentioning the only way in reality of a driver above the cut line getting eliminated is they have an issue or they run really bad, and Joey Logano is running really bad, and Eric Jones, who's below the cut line, is running really good. So keep an eye out for that, as we were actually forced 3 wide unexpectedly there with Daniel Suarez, who's in the playoffs, and then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I was not happy at all about what Stenhouse just did there, as that completely messed us over now. As I would get to the back of him right away here as we went to 3 to go on the stage. I'd run straight into the back of him saying, just, you know what, I was not happy about that, and he gets sideways out of turns 2, makes a save, but we would end up getting around him anyways here now as we came through to the final lap of stage 1. I would just go to the outside and just cruise on by him, but Martin Truex Jr. Was easily hanging on to the stage 1 victory here as we go down this back straightaway to the outside of the 17 of Chris Buescher. Brad Keselowski about to go a lap down, but he's going to get the lucky dog, so he should be okay now as we come through to cross the line for P2 in the first and opening stage there. But a bit disappointing that we couldn't run down the 19 of Truex, but overall a very solid first stage for us. A pretty calm first stage other than that 3 wide moment right there. But Joey Logano, Eric Jones, those are the 2 drivers to watch out for, because Eric Jones, P6, just picked up 5 points to close in a little bit on Joey Logano here in the points now as we get ready to go here for stage 2. We would come into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires, repair the little bit of damage that we got from that 3 wide contact with Suarez and Stenhouse, and when we hit that outside wall. Martin Truex Jr. would actually have a very bad pit stop, falling outside of the top 10. We remain P2 because Hamlin was actually able to beat me in the pit lane now. So we're going to be underway for the start of stage 2 and maybe have a chance to maybe take the lead and run away with it. But for the start of the stage, we go through into the AMP segment. I expected to honestly run away with the lead here, as we were faster than Denny Hamlin there on stage 1, and Truex I thought was our only competitor, but I was proven wrong very quickly. We come through to lap 9 already in stage 2, and Hamlin had opened up the gap here to a very comfortable margin in front of myself now, as we were up in front of Kyle Larson in P3 by over 2 seconds, so we had absolutely no pressure at all from behind. So it was just Hamlin just kind of comfortably in front of me, and then myself comfortably in front of third place on back. But we come through to lap 12, and we had a bit of a moment here with Todd Gilliland actually having an engine failure, and he would hold up a bunch of cars. So we were already now on just lap 13 dealing with lap traffic because of that situation there with Gilliland. So he would come to the pit lane, and surprisingly, Gilliland's team would be able to actually fix the engine and get him back on the track here within the coming laps. Now, as we were up the inside there of the 37 of Ryan Preece, and then up the inside of the 00 of Quinn Half there for Starcom Racing. That team and driver will not be in the career mode next season, as he will be replaced by the colleague team that's coming into the Cup Series, as well as that 49 of Chad Fincham just in front of Hamlin right now is also going to be gone from the career mode next season, as that will be replaced by the Red Bull team that returns with Casey Kane. Now as we go into turns 1 now on lap 16, and we were just doing a solid job navigating through traffic, but Hamlin was just doing a better job than I was. So we come through to the inside of Daniel Suarez now approaching lap 18, and you can see Hamlin still once again opening up that gap now as we came through into turns 1 on lap 20, and now both of us were up on the second lane, and I was starting to close in a little bit again on Denny Hamlin now, as we actually to the back of our teammate Chase Elliott, who's having a very rough night here in Bristol. But fortunately for him, he does not have to really worry about the point situation. So he's had a couple bad races in a row after having a stellar last half of a regular season, but then Hamlin chooses the wrong lane on lap 22, decides to stay behind Steno. So I take it to the outside, and now we will pass Denny Hamlin, take over the lead with 6 laps to go in stage 2. So now we're trying to run down drivers like Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, who is of course our rival, as you guys know, and sure enough, we would get to the back of both of them here already as we came through the center of 3 and out of turns 4, approaching the final 5 laps in the stage to the outside of the 23 and to the outside of the 22 as we go down into turns 1, but we make contact, and into the outside while we go, we damage the right side of the car. Hamlin goes by on the inside, and that was a very similar situation to what happened in stage 1, where one of the cars sent it up the inside 3 wide, and I did not see it coming, and that time I was already turning down into the corner, and Logano was there, and it was actually Bubba Wallace sending it up the inside 3 wide that time, and that's why that happened. We would get by him and just focus on everything here, as we were already approaching the final lap of stage 2, and we had run down Denny Hamlin again here, as Martin Truex Jr. is at risk of going a lap down as we exit turn 2, going down the back straightaway. Gregson, Keselowski, 2 drivers trying to make it into the next round, both on the verge of going a lap down here as we exit turns 4, 3 wide for the stage victory. Hamlin holds us off barely there in a photo finish for the end of the second stage. So Christopher Bell as well was actually up into the mix. We never even noticed him coming, but he was able to get up there to P3. Harvick, Austin Dillon actually round out the top 5 here in the second stage, and to round out the top 10, Alex Bowman. But Eric Jones, unfortunately for him, did not pick up any stage points there, so he does not gain anything on Joey Logano. But I will show you guys the gap between those two, because that's the story to watch going into this final stage here. In just a few moments, I'll show you the points gap. Now, as you see, the rest of the order, Todd Gilliland 4 laps down after the engine failure. He's only 4 laps down, so he's having a pretty solid night now, as we actually lose a spot again on the pit lane, drop to P3 with Christopher Bell moving up into second place, who missed the playoffs but running well, very well here tonight in Bristol. But the third and final stage gets underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway now, as we actually got into the back there of the 20 of Christopher Bell. But there you see the gap. Logano 10 points above the cut line, Eric Jones 10 points below the cut line, and I can tell you guys right now it's going to be very close, because Jones is running significantly better than Joey Logano tonight, but he's still not having a great race, so it's going to get interesting. But here's the thing, Jones on the lead lap, Joey Logano not on the lead lap. That could be a huge deciding factor here at the end of this race. So Logano needs to just try and get into the lucky dog position. Jones needs to beat Logano by 11 positions to beat him, in 10 positions, of course, to tie. Now, as I was stuck here on the outside behind Chase Briscoe in the 14, who won the last race out here in Richmond there, as we come through down into turn 3. So Briscoe 2 wins on the season right now, 4 career wins, as he picked up 2 wins in his rookie season last season as well in the career mode. Now, I was around the outside of him, actually got into the wall a little bit there, a bit of a mistake for myself. But once I was able to get to the outside of Chase Briscoe, we would start making our way forwards again. But unfortunately, we lost a lot of ground there in those first few laps. Now, as we came through lap 69, nice to the outside of Austin Nathan Dillon. We pass him into turns 1, now on lap 70, but I go a little bit too deep there. I actually clipped the outside wall there. I was driving really hard at this point, trying to make up for the time that we had lost after getting stuck behind that 14 of Bristol. Now as Christopher Bell still runs in that second position here as we go down this front straightaway. Now as we came through the 55 laps to go, and then we come through lap 76, we close right up to the back of the 20 of Christopher Bell now as we go down into turns 1, but he was doing a really good job here, kind of planting his car right in the middle of the track. So I was like, I don't know where to go, to the outside, to the inside. I'm more comfortable on the outside, but I didn't feel like we could quite make it work like I wanted it to right there. So I tried to make a move to the inside, some contact there with Bell, but we keep it going here as we go into the corner now. So I decided to try and get up to the top here, and I just didn't know where to go there overall now as we come through down the back stretch. Denny Hamlin loving it, of course, now as he is currently pulling away from both of us as we look up the inside of the 20 on the exit of turns 4. Very good run. I decide we're going to send it into the corner. A slide job on a dirt track veteran there of Christopher Bell, and we move now up into the second position here in the final 50 laps of this race as we come through down the front straightaway. Now as we actually have trouble into turns 1, the 37 goes crashing. We nearly run into him. The caution comes out. It sounds like Christopher Bell might have gotten a piece of it, but a big incident right there for the 37 of Ryan Preece. Fortunately, we avoided it now as I saw the car coming down the track, and I thought I was going to go head on into him, but fortunately we got to the right side of the track. But we come to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires. Very easy call to make, and of course we're going to repair the damage that we picked up there. Now as you can see, Joey Logano down in P30 right now, and as of right now, Eric Jones is looking very good for him to potentially eliminate Joey Logano and get himself into the next round of the playoffs. And I would be very surprised if it was Logano being eliminated over his teammate Brad Keselowski, but we actually dropped down to P3 again on the pit stop. So Bell back into second place as the green flag is out. What could be the final restart of the night here in Bristol. We are underway as we go down into turns 1. Not a great launch there from our former teammate of Denny Hamlin as we exit turn 2. Bell, he's had a very subpar season. He's gotten 3 career wins here in the career mode so far. He picked up 1 victory at Phoenix a few seasons ago, and then he won 2 races last season in the career mode in that 95 car. Most recently, it was the Martinsville playoff race. So we come through out of turns 2, approaching the 1 season mark of his winless streak now within the coming races. Well, he gets on it. He attacks to the inside of Denny Hamlin, and Bell now passes his teammate of Denny Hamlin, trying to make a statement that he belongs in that 20 car. Of course, we won a lot of races in that 20 car. Bell hasn't really done much at all. He couldn't even make the playoffs, but here he is actually losing the lead now on lap 93 as we come through out of turns 2. Both of them really just had more speed than I did at this point. I was just hoping that we could make this outside line work. We come through to lap 94, and I knew lap traffic was going to be a bit of an issue as the race went on there, but I actually make a mistake. I get into the outside wall on the exit of turns 2. I just completely misjudged it. It wasn't the handling of the car. The car was fine. I just straight up misjudged the exit of the corner there, and I drove it into the outside wall. But Christopher Bell would actually retake the lead from Denny Hamlin, so we come through to lap 100, but now we're coming up on some lap traffic, so I realized this was going to be my opportunity to get back into the mix, and sure enough, there was lap traffic everywhere, and I would get right to the back of Denny Hamlin, close to Christopher Bell, and now I was like, where do I want to go again? I decided to go on the inside here because Bell was doing the same thing, and it was working for him, so I'm up the inside here of Denny Hamlin, and I knew we just kind of had to be patient right here if we want to move our way forward, so I was being as patient as I possibly could as we went down into turns 3 and 4, and sure enough, as we come through to turns 4, we're going to barely get in front of the 11 of Denny Hamlin now with 21 laps to go, not much time to go, and you're seeing the 20 drive away, so I knew I had to get aggressive here as we clear the 11 of Hamlin. I would get past the 9 of Elliott. We would now force a 3 wide between McDowell as well as the 51 of Gay. Some contact there, but I did not care at this point because we really need to get a move on, and I send it into turn 3, and the 51 sideways Hamlin clear of him as we now look to the outside of the 00 of Quinn Half. Now 19 laps to go as we try to run down Christopher Bell. It all comes down now to who can work their way through lap traffic the best as we came through passing Daniel Suarez now to the left rear quarter panel just about of Corey LaJoie up the inside of him as we go down into turns 115 to go, and Bell is going to be able to clear that traffic, and he would just continue moving his way forwards, and I would continue to follow now as we come through approaching the final 10 laps. McDowell, he actually had an engine failure as well. He was on the pit lane now as we would pass our teammate, or sorry, our rival of Joey Logano as we came through out of turns 2. It's looking very bad at this moment for Joey Logano now as we come through Out of turns 4, we were closing in on the back of Bell with the final 6 laps underway here in Bristol Motor Speedway. Now as he gets held up a little bit behind Stenhouse, he would jump up to the outside, but now I was right to the back of Christopher Bell. But then the caution comes out here in Bristol, and that means we will have to start on the outside line, which is exactly what I do not want. But Erik Jones, the story that we're looking at right now, he is currently in the round of 12 if he finishes where he does and Logano finishes where he does. Now, as I should mention, Anthony Alfredo currently inside the top 10 right now here in Bristol, going into this final restart with 2 laps to go all of a sudden here to decide who makes it into the round of 12. It's a race between Erik Jones and Joey Logano, and a race for the win between myself and Christopher Bell, which is now underway with 2 laps to go here in Bristol Motor Speedway for the Bass Pro Shops night race. Hamlin Larson just behind us. Cole Custer rounds out the top 5. A good restart there for Christopher Bell here as he's clear down the back straightaway, but into turn 3 I lunge up the right-hand side. Of course, we can't let him get clear and drive away. We have to give it everything we got as we exit turns 4. White flag in the air here in Bristol. No pressure from behind us. Between myself and the 20, we send it deep into turns 1 and 2. A better run on the exit of the corner for Bell, but we had the momentum down the back straightaway. We keep up side by side into turns 3 and 4 for the final time, side by side on the exit of turns 4. It's Bell and myself side by side at the line. Of photo finish, but Christopher Bell wins here in Bristol Motor Speedway as we come up runner-up in the 2nd position. So Bell gets his first win at Joe Gibbs Racing. But the main thing, Erik Jones finished P19 and Joey Logano finished 30th. That was the exact thing that Jones needed to make it by 1 point into the next round. Erik Jones has advanced into the round of 12 over Joey Logano. There you see it on your screen right there. Logano misses it by 1 point. Reddick, Byron, Suarez, they all kind of struggled in that race. We knew they weren't going to be a factor now, but Logano surprisingly eliminated the McLaren team, doing a very solid job here with Erik Jones to advance themselves into the next round. Gregson made it by 4, so it got a little bit close for him, but 10th on up was just easily into the next round now. As before we end this episode, of course, we're going to check out all the playoff grids that you need to see going into the next episode. The Truck Series goes into their final round before deciding the final 4 here in the career mode, and then the Xfinity Series just goes into race number 2 of the first round, where it wasn't a great Xfinity race for us. We had William Byron in the car, and we're actually 8 points below the cut line going into Las Vegas. So in the next episode, of course, we start the 2nd round of the playoffs here in the Cup Series, where we are now 43 points above the cut line. So in good shape. Elliott 24, Truex 25, but I feel like we're the only one that's in really comfortable shape right now. Jones last, but only 2 points out. Bowman, unfortunately, 2 points out as well. It's going to get really interesting, to say the least, here in the coming episodes of this career mode, as that the points just overall very close between everybody. But before we end it, just want to say thank you to the Go On Racing members of MJ, Aiden, James, Joseph, 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, Devin Roth, Eric Chouette, Matthias Hansen, as well as Movement. You guys helped me out a lot. I was saying earlier, I'm going to be putting all the members on my career mode car for the Phoenix episode. Can't wait to do that, just to kind of say thank you, and just thank you to everybody for taking the time out of the day to watch this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.